If you've ever lowered your prices to land a client only for them to smell the desperation on you and ghost, or if you've ever built up the courage to raise your prices only for everyone who was interested to suddenly vanish, here's exactly why that's happening and how you can ethically fix it and feel really good about making sales that people are excited to buy. The first thing you have to know is that your market is not special. Whoever it is that you are serving and selling to is going to be a combination of people that follow the same patterns as every other group of people. And in particular, it's the 80-20 rule that we can apply to most things that also applies here. In any market, the top 20% of buyers are going to hold 80% of the budget, and they're going to be dispersed between what we call the top of market and the middle of the market. And in these two segments, because they have more budget, buyers are going to consider things other than just price when making a purchasing decision. Now, the mass market, which is the bottom 80% that only has 20% of the budget, is where most people start. And the problem is that most people ignore this top 20% of their market. They only focus on the mass market, the bottom 80% that have 20% of the budget. And this is where people are most price sensitive. The problem is the way that you're presenting your offer is usually speaking to that bottom 80% that only has 20% of the budget and actually turning away the top 20% that have 80% of the budget. And the reason that we typically ignore the top segment of the market is because we have a lack of conviction about our ability to actually deliver a good result. And we don't want to be bad people. We don't want to be scammers. And this is the exact problem that I saw for myself inside of my YouTube agency and how I raised my prices from $500 to $2,500 in just a couple of weeks and actually got more clients that were happier with the work that we were doing for them. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Lili. This channel is where I document my financial freedom journey and bring you along with me. This lack of conviction problem that makes us desperate and keeps us begging the wrong segment of the market is the exact problem that I had when I started my YouTube agency. I decided that I would charge $500 per month to run an entire YouTube channel for a business owner. And most of that money I was planning on giving to an editor to actually edit the videos every week. And I was gonna work for free until I could get proof of concept and get some testimonials. But here's the problem. I was pricing my services to survive, not pricing my services to deliver a spectacular result. And that communicated to the business owners that I was reaching out to that there was no way I could do a really good job with their public-facing YouTube channel. And this is the mental breakthrough that allowed me to have conviction in my offer, raise my prices, and have the potential client be happier that I was having a higher price. It all comes down to the fact that people buy things to raise their status, whether it's the status that the world has the impression of them for, or it's the status that they have internally. And that second one can oftentimes be even more important. Think about a 47-year-old man who lives in California. If he was to buy a Lamborghini, would it raise or lower his status? Most people would say raise. If he was to buy a minivan, would it raise or lower his status? Most people would say lower. It's all dependent on the context. If he's a stay-at-home father of 4 and he drops his kids off at school and picks them up every single day, when he goes into that school drop-off line, does driving a 2-seater Lamborghini raise his status as a dedicated father that loves his children? But if he had a brand new minivan with top-of-the-line safety ratings and little TVs on the back of all the seats for each kid to watch their own individual YouTube videos, that would absolutely raise his status as a dedicated father, not just to the other parents in the school pickup line, but also to himself. And so we really need to consider, is what we're offering raising or lowering the status of the person that we're helping? And this is something that we spend an entire hour and a half going over and customizing to individual businesses at my 5-day Zoom challenge called the Self-Funded Freedom Challenge. You can head to the link in the top comment, check out what people are saying about the experience, and go deeper on this concept, as well as many others that are going to help you build a business to get time, location, and financial freedom. So here's 3 ways you can communicate to your potential client that your offer is going to raise their status. The first status raiser is the idea of, where do I belong? And this helps your customers stay in social alignment with the people around them. Like I said, that Lamborghini would lower the social status of that dedicated father of 4. In another context, if he was a tech CEO going to give a keynote speech, the Lamborghini would raise his social status. The second thing you can do is give them something that others can't have: access to scarcity. Rolls-Royce makes 6,000 cars per year. Toyota makes 10.3 million. And so for someone who values having access to scarce things, buying a Toyota, while yes, it would be cheaper and lower on price, would actually lower their status in their own eyes than if they were to buy the super scarce Rolls-Royce. Then there's the idea of what the person wants to communicate that they prioritize. For me, it doesn't matter if I go into a gas station and they slap a discount sticker on the day-old sushi. I don't want to purchase it, not just because I think it's going to get me sick, because internally that would lower my status to myself and make me feel like I'm working so hard to be a business owner and to gain financial freedom, and I can't go to the restaurant to get high quality sushi. I've got to buy it from the gas station with a discount sticker. So even though it's cheaper, buying it would lower my status, and therefore it's not something that I'm going to do. And so you can see how if you are making an offer in a way to your potential client that is lowering their status, either by lowering your price, slapping that discount sticker on some gas station sushi, making them feel ostracized from their social network, or any way that you could lower their status, they're just not going to buy. Another way you could be making this mistake and how you can easily fix it is by thinking about the delivery vehicle that you present your offer in. For each level of that market pyramid, you want to think about what delivery vehicle is gonna work best for them. When I first started finding success on YouTube, I did what most people do, and I thought about making an online course that would help people grow their own YouTube channels and pricing it as cheaply as I could so that people would want to buy it over the competition. I was focusing on that mass market and just competing on price. I wasn't at all thinking about the status or the delivery vehicle that I was using to communicate to my customer. That online course and lots of digital products like this fall into the DIY or do-it-yourself delivery vehicle. And this is something that can appeal to the mass market because you can make it once and sell it multiple times, and therefore you can sell it pretty cheaply. But I quickly realized that a $50 online course was not going to move me towards financial freedom in any significant way unless I literally sold tens of thousands of them. So instead, I tried to go to that top of market and offer them a done-for-you delivery vehicle. I'll run your entire YouTube channel for you. I'll do the strategy, I'll do the editing, I'll do the posting, the repurposing, all that good stuff. But the problem was the delivery vehicle and the price didn't match. I was offering a done-for-you service with a do-it-yourself pricing. And while I thought that meant I was telling those customers, oh, look at all of this great value you're getting, actually all I was communicating was that I wouldn't be able to deliver on that end result because my pricing and my delivery vehicle were mismatched. There's also the middle ground of the done-with-you offer. And this is an example of that challenge I was telling you about, where part of the work is done by me and my team to help people gain clarity and the conviction and pricing and analyze everything that's going on in their business and give them that insight and advice. But then the other part of it is what they have to go out and do on their own. And so it's really like a combination, which allows it to kind of sit in that middle tier of pricing. I was listening to a podcast this morning from this guy who owns contentremoval.com. It's basically a service that can get unwanted or illegal content removed off of the internet for people. Really cool, important service, I think. He could have gone to the mass market and sold a course to different people who maybe an ex-partner posted something unsavory of them online after a breakup and they wanted to learn how to go to the correct channels to get it removed. But again, this is ignoring the top of the market that has most of the budget. Because if you're like me and you'll see like a boxing match that was pay-per-view and it's online, or you see a video of a Beyonce concert and her makeup looks bad or she had a wardrobe malfunction, and you see that video online, but then like 5 minutes later your feed refreshes and now it says content not available, it's someone like him that's behind the scenes of that. And that's the top of market, right? That's the 1% that has the vast majority of the budget. If he was to offer ESPN, pay-per-view, or Beyonce a do-it-yourself service, hey Beyonce, log into your Instagram and follow this online course to go do this, this, and that would be lowering those people's status. That would be asking them to do work that their level of budget affords them the ability not to do. And so instead, you should just offer a done-for-you service to those people at the top of the market, because that is going to raise their status. That is going to deliver to them the result in the best delivery vehicle for them. Now, once you know how you're raising the status of someone and a delivery vehicle that's going to make them have the most belief that you're going to accomplish that end result, you have to actually put a number on those offers. And that's something that I cover in this video right here, breaking it down so you can figure out exactly what price point to charge, how much that's going to make you, and how many sales you'll need to get so that you can live your financially free life. I'll link this video and the link to come to that 5-day Zoom challenge in the top comment. And until next time, thanks for watching.